Congratulations on your purchase of the Wonder from Down Under, the putter that never misses from 8 foot and under. Here with me today is the inventor, Paul Cleve, and also Terry Adcock, his teaching professional. And we're going to illustrate to you how simple this putter and the technique is to use. For instance, the two most important things in making a putt is number one, being able to aim the putter in the direction you're trying to putt and also release that putter in that same direction. First of all, we're going to illustrate two ways to putt. We're going to illustrate the Aussie way and then the American way. But before we do that, I want to show you how instinctive this way of putting is. For instance, if I'm going to walk along and swing my arms in a very natural motion like I'm doing here, you'll notice the flow and the rhythm of my arms. Well, when you putt with the WonderPutter, you're putting in a motion with your right arm that's conducive to your natural instinct of walking. So it allows the putter to stay square on the line and allows you to release it in the most natural way.
That's right, Marty. This is the easiest way that I've ever seen in putting. There's no rolling with the arms or shoulders. The arms just go straight out towards the hole. The ball goes in more easily.
We have no conflict between either the left or the right hand. Basically, what you're doing is you're actually swinging the putter and releasing it in the most natural and instinctive way. I'd like to address the myth of the hands working together principle. For instance, I have a piece of paper here I'll let Paul take, and it has two slits in it. And if the hands work together, when he pulls them apart, you're going to have three different pieces of paper. Let's see what happens, Paul. Now that's proof that the hands do not work together. And that's why the Wonder from Down Under and its technique of putting will allow you to make everything in sight. Terry, why don't you have Paul get up here and illustrate the Aussie way?
Okay, Paul. There's a set routine that we like to follow all the time, Marty, and it's exactly the same as what you do here in the US. We like to aim with the putter first, walk around behind the ball, Paul, get your line to the target, put your putter on the intended line. If it's a straight putt, this will be aiming at the hole. Now walk up with the left foot. Left foot's parallel to the goal target line on top of the putter. The right foot is out of the way. That makes it a legal stance. If your right foot was in the way on the backswing, that would make it illegal. Now, the swing is just straight back, straight through.
You want to comment a little bit about his grip?
Well, the grip is very much like a standard grip. We can use either the standard overlapping grip in a slightly relaxed form as we do with a regular putter, or we can use the reverse overlapping. It's really up to the individual to pick which one he likes. Paul's got the overlapping grip there. Okay, Paul. Now straight back, straight through. Just like that. And it happens all the time.
It's just like a walk in the park, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You can see how simple this method is to teach and also to utilize. You're going to approach the putt the same way as he did the first example. Sets the putter behind the ball, aiming at his target, which is the cup. It happens to be a straight-in putt. You notice that he has his left hand, his left thumb is on the club, and his fingers are just barely touching. He's going to use that as a balance to balance his putter. Then he's going to walk around. Instead of putting one foot behind the other, he's going to put them basically parallel to each other. And then he's going to place his right hand on the club, and all he's going to do is swing it back and forth like a pendulum. And you'll notice that the club face remains perfectly square. And when the putter is perfectly square going back and through on a pendulum basis, it will put a more accurate spin on the ball. In other words, the axis of the ball is turning more vertical to the ground. And when that happens, you eliminate these lip outs. A lot of people will come in after a round of golf and say, I can't believe how many lip outs I had on the golf course. And he'll say 5 or 6, or I just couldn't buy a putt, and that sort of thing. Well, the way that this putter puts the roll on the ball, because you're using a basic pendulum stroke and the club face is remaining square, back and through, you're putting a more vertical spin on the ball. It's not a curve spin. The curve spin increases lip outs. The vertical spins increases the ball to want to dive in the hole when you catch the lip. But the best thing about this putter is it's so easy to aim, because in most putts you never get back here to aim. You're always trying to aim from a triangular position. And when you do that, you're looking at it like this, even though maybe your right eye may be dominant or your left eye may be dominant, but you're not really getting the truer reading that you need. Because when you aim a putt like this, and then you look back up at the hole, sometimes you're not convinced that you're aimed correctly, so then you start jiggling yourself around as you're putting. And when you start jiggling yourself around, you start putting questions in your mind. And when you put questions in your mind, you increase your doubt. And when you increase your doubt, you also increase your anxiety level. And as a result of that, it kind of gets you a little bit tense, and then you have one hand fighting the other.
That's right.
So, you know, the thing I like about this putter is that you can just get back here, you can get your line, you can walk up to it. If you don't want to look up, you don't have to. And I try to encourage my students not to look up, because once you look up, you're destroying your spine angle, you're destroying the way you look at the putt, you're creating tension, you're creating doubt. So when you line the putter up from back here and you step into it, I never look up, I just trust my stroke. And that's the proper way to use it. Another thing you want to be very careful about is, in aiming a putt, most people will pick out a spot that's in front of their ball for their target. I don't agree with that. I think that you should pick out a target that's adjacent to your hole, because if you pick out a target in between your ball and in the hole, then you're going to distract your mind from the true distance that you're trying to hit the putt. And this is a key way of eliminating free putts.
Marty, when you're lining the putt up, the beauty of this method is that when we go to pick our line to the hole, we're always standing behind the ball to start with anyway. We walk into the ball where we've still got that same line in focus. So it's a lot easier. You're not creating any doubt in your mind as to which direction you go. In a normal putting action, you take your line, you walk up here, and as you say, then you create doubts because it doesn't look right. This way we found that even with side hill putts that have break, this is a much easier way to do it. Once you've lined that putter up, whichever stance that you like to adopt, it's much easier to get that putter going straight back and straight through, and the ball goes in the hole more squarely every time.
When you're putting with this style, you're also, Terry, you're facing the hole.
That's right.
And you're getting a true stereopsis of the putt. In other words, you're able to see the height, the width, the depth of the terrain and everything.
That's right.
So you're really ensuring yourself of getting the true alignment and also the true stroke.
Well, I found with my students at home, the ones that were having trouble with side hill putts, they were pulling the putts with the standard putting method. With this one, with using the WonderPutter, it was so much easier to get that putter going straighter. The ball wasn't dying away from the hole nearly as much, and they were making a lot more putts.
Yeah. And you know, the other thing too that I like about it is you're not standing in a triangular way where your arms are brushing across your body, encouraging you to move your body and your knees. You know,
that's right.
There's no knee movement here. All you're doing is lining up and then stroking. And it's just like a walk in the park, you know.
Well, your shoulders stay very square to the line that you want the ball to go on. If you had your shoulders a little bit out of alignment, it would make the stroke a little more difficult, but even so, the club will go through towards the hole more easily anyway. I'd like to show you a tip that I use at home for my pupils who have trouble making putts, regardless of what method they're using. It was often said that the hole should be bigger so you can make more putts. Well, what I like to do is actually make the target a lot smaller. What I've done here is set up a little drill. I put a tee to the side and one tee right behind the hole. By fine-tuning your aiming, get your putter facing the tee, make your stroke. A ball hitting the tee or missing the tee just either side would still go in the hole. Get 3 or 4 balls. If you can hit that tee 3 times out of 4, then move over to the tee behind the hole and repeat the exercise. Remember, you're not aiming for the hole, you're aiming for the tee right behind the hole. A very small target. That way, it doesn't matter if you miss your target just a little bit, it's still going to go in the hole. If you really want to make it a little bit more challenging for yourself, put the tee right in front of the hole. adopt the same exercise. This time you are trying to miss the tee slightly one side or the other and still get the ball in the hole. I think if you do that drill, you'll find you're going to hole a lot more putts.
How do you normally read putts, Terry?
Well, like the standard method, Marty, I get behind the ball by 4 or 5 feet, squat down on my haunches and have a look at the line to see if there's a variation in the level of the ground. And if I think there's a slight drop to one side, I'll pick out a point beside the hole, similar to what you were saying before, and then I'll line this putter up at that particular point.
If I'm undecided about a putt, what I will normally do is go to and look at the green. I'll look at all the surroundings, the geographical area of the whole setting. Because sometimes a green looks like it may be sloped this way, but actually it may be this way. There may be mountains or small hills around. So you have to find out where the highest point of the property is in the golf course and see where you're located. So that way you kind of get a better idea. If the hill is over here, but yet the green looks like it's sloped here, in most cases it's really going to be pretty level or it's going to go to the left. And another thing I like to do is I like to look at the green and pick out the highest point and then determine where I am on that green, because if I know where the highest point is and I see where I am with my putt, then it'll also indicate to me, what the true break it might be.
That's true.
And I also like to get I take one other look. I get behind the putt and I look, and then I go behind the hole and look back towards the ball. I get 2 looks at that because that kind of ensures the way it's going to break.
Well, that's right. Looking at a hole from one direction can often be very misleading. Looking at it from the behind the hole back towards where you're putting, you get an idea of what you do if you're putting back towards where the ball is. And that can often tell you, as you say, where the true break is.
How do you try to gauge your speed?
Well, it may be a little bit different from the way you do it. If I was going to throw a ball or roll a ball to the hole, I try and feel how fast a swing I would need to get that ball to finish near the hole. Because whether I'm 20 feet or 30 feet away, I want to make sure that I take no more than 2 putts. So I'll feel a swing, and this is the natural swing. It's very hard to feel a swing across your body. With your arm going straight out towards the hole, if it's a straight putt, I can get a feel for the distance by how fast I'm swinging my arms.
I think it's easier to go this way also, because when you're putting, it's easier to only use enough swing to get you where you need to go.
Well, that's right. With the normal putting method, we try not to let one hand overpower the other. And it's usually the right hand that most people use when they do use a normal putter, and that's wrong because that makes the left wrist break. With this method, you can use that right hand as much as your instinct allows you, and it becomes the correct thing to do because your hands are moving in a natural way. When you have a normal golf swing, this is the only action that your hands use. We don't use the hands waggling from side to side. So in this putting method with the WonderPutter, we're doing exactly the same action. Our hands are working the same way as they would be if we were swinging a normal golf club. And that's what makes this such an easy method to do for everybody. I'd like to show you a little method that I use at home in Australia to get people to work on their touch. Touch and feeling for putting is very important, but the throwing action, everyone has the ability to throw and get the ball to go where they want it. Within a short space of time, without Marty moving his hand, the ball should be landing in his hand. Now, everyone can learn a throw, and this is the action we're using for the WonderPutter. It's just a straightforward throw, and when you get the throw going, you'll finally get the putter to go the ball to the hole.
I like what you said, Terry, about the touch of your little drill, because really and truthfully, when you make a putt or you attempt to putt, you've got to only use enough swing to get you where you need to go, and that really improves your touch. But another thing that I think is really, really important, and that's having a routine. I call it a pre-shot routine for putting. Let me illustrate. The routine that I'm going to illustrate here is you're going to set the club on your intended line once you've assumed your target. Then you're going to come around here, you're going to put your right down here, and then you're going to make your stroke. You notice that I never look back up at the hole. I don't want any doubt in my mind, number one, as to where I'm aiming. because if I happen to look back up at the hole, I could change my mind and be in doubt. There are a couple things you need to remember. Number one is you need to aim the putter in the direction you're trying to go. And number two, you're trying to release that putter in the direction that you're aiming. So whether it be the Aussie way, the American way, you make the decision, but remember, keep it natural, keep it instinctive, and keep it athletic.
I'd like to tell you how good it's been to develop the Wonder from Down Under putter. Since I've been using it, I've improved my game immensely, and I know it'll do the same for you. Good on you, mates.